again, maximize potentials. In maximization, there are legal, there are prohibited methodologies, and the fact is we need to be aware what these prohibited methodologies or substances are. You may be familiar with psychological, so enhancers to boost performance, good, nutritional. We have a lot of physiological training in a high altitude area for a period allows us to produce more red blood cells, therefore more oxygen to carry within the system that requires it. Then again, we need to talk about pharmacological, and this is where the heart and soul of the talk is. The reason why we would like to discuss doping, anti-doping is the fact that rules should define sports participation, competition, and even training. Meron tayong rules of engagement. And the reason is in any given time, any given day, any given setting, we would like to preserve the spirit of the sport. Ang ating Olympism, ethics, fair play, honesty, health, particularly excellence in performance within capacity or capability. There should be character, fun, if it need be, teammanship. We need to be dedicated. We need to be committed. Then again, we need to respect rules, respect others, courage, community, solidarity. So this is all about Olympism. Then again, at some point, we got exposed to doping in sport. So as I told you, we can maximize performance, but we should not resort into doping. Ano ba ang doping? Doping is the use of physiological substances and methodologies in abnormal amount with the exclusive aim of attaining an artificial or unfair advantage over the competition. So athletes' use of prohibited drugs or methodologies to improve training and sporting results beyond what one is capable of. Marami na tayong napag-usapan dyan. Doping in effect. Now, if there is doping, we need to put in doping control measures. And doping actually belongs to a bigger program which is anti-doping. Anti-doping has an education component, anti-doping has a control component, and several more. So why do we need to espouse the cause? Fight doping in all its forms. Sa mundo ng World Anti-Doping Agency, doping is cheating. So we need to engage the competition on fair rules. So then again, we need to espouse personal integrity. More importantly, we need to protect the rights of clean athletes, having an environment where competition is healthy and safe, microcosm of society, so that if sports is clean, society will be clean as well. And last but not the least, of course, we want to engage, we want to maintain the spirit of the sport, which is Olympism. Now, through the years, there have been efforts to clean sport. In 1998, you can see from this presentation, there was a crisis as an aftermath of a happening in France, in Tour de France. Then again, the first World Conference on Doping Sports was held in 1999. In 2003, the World Anti-Doping Code and its international standards were accepted by countries throughout the world and the sporting body as well. The code was repealed, made relevant in 2004. In 2005, governments met under the uh, sponsorship and hosting of UNESCO, the International Convention against doping in sports. And thereafter, several more milestones came into being. Now, in 2021, a new code will be in place. And this new code was approved in a World Conference held in 2019. Now, why should we be clean? We need to be clean because we are part of this movement. So there are two declarations where the Philippines is signatory. Number one, Copenhagen Declaration, a political commitment of all countries listed and signed up together with the sporting movement. So the organizations and the sports to come clean, fight doping in sports, and secondly, the UNESCO International Convention against doping in sports. So we are signatory to these two important documents and agreements, and therefore we need to comply with the requirements for engagement. Now, looking through the World Anti-Doping Agency as established in the World Conference leading to the adoption of the World Anti-Doping Code, WADA would like to protect the integrity of sport. And here, relative to its vision, mission, and values, we should be in sync. We need to be in sync with this independent body that harmonizes the movements against doping in sport. Now, if we look at the anti-doping community, this is our community. If we're in sports, then we belong here. Either you are an athlete, a support personnel, the entourage, or you're recognized by the different bodies. So starting from the major organizing committee of major games organizing committee, international federations, national federations, the National Olympic Committee, the National Paralympic Committee, governments, the National Anti-Doping Org, the Regional Anti-Doping Org, the accredited laboratories, and last, particularly, not the least, the Court of Arbitration Sport. This is the anti-doping community, and this is where we work around as a stakeholder in sports, whether in the Philippines or outside. Now, from 2018 to 2022, the fight has been enhanced with new focused areas. So rules were harmonized, the movement went into capacity building, fundings, available funds went to education and research. There were accreditation and constant monitoring of laboratories, ongoing investigations, development of a web administrative management system, and several more, including the requirement for national anti-doping organizations to comply with, and several more. Now, looking at the code, 2021, this has been approved, and this will be put in place January 1. And with the new code, we are looking at international standards which came about. Saan ba yung international standards? Now, what are prohibited? Of course, we have a list, as I will discuss later what the list is all about. Meron tayong magagamit na guide in terms of knowing whether what one is taking is prohibited or not. Now, if I am an athlete, I'm going to compete internationally, and it so happened that I acquire an illness and I need to take substances found in the list. Can I still compete? Will I be penalized and tested? These are questions that we're going to answer under TUE later. Now, laboratory, we need to transport our specimen to WADA accredited laboratory. And it's not many. There is a list of accredited laboratories that will handle the protocol for doping control based on the international standards. Likewise, testing and investigation, whether we go targeted, whether we go major games, doping control, out of competition, in competition, these are the things that we're going to talk about. Now, protection of privacy, there is this element of confidentiality in doping control. So we need to look at this issue, the data privacy. But then again, WADA would like to publish the list of athletes found violating the rules. If your specimen turns positive and there is an investigation that proceeds after it, and you're finally determined to have committed violations, a violation or several violations, then your name should be shared with everyone. And the reason is this may allow people to go straightforward and not go into doping activities. And last but not the least, of course, the new standards in terms of code compliance by signatories. So signatories should comply with the requirements of doping. So this is where we move around. This is our world. And if your athletes happen to represent the Philippines, participate in international sporting events, then the chances are there should be doping control in place. So therefore, we need to know what is happening all throughout. So the code, by the way, came out in 2009, was repealed in 2009, repealed again in 2015, and has been made relevant according to the changes happening around us, which is 2021. Thereafter, we are looking at compliance monitoring. Pinado, which is the agency responsible for putting the programs under the World Anti-Doping Code, is continuously being monitored by two agencies. One is the World Anti-Doping Agency, and the other one is the Convention of Parties in the Elimination of Sports under UNESCO. So right now, WADA is in a much better place to monitor compliance. But then again, there will be new developments as we take a look at what the World Anti-Doping Code gives us in 2021. So far, there have been more than 10,500 corrective actions based on the code compliance questionnaire issued to us, the NADOs, the RADOs, the National Anti-Doping Organizations, and Regional Anti-Doping Organizations. But the work continues, by the way. We are required to put in place a comprehensive program on anti-doping. The focus right now is in reality education. And that's the reason why I agreed to be a part of your webinar. I am pleased and honored to have been invited and acceded simply because education is very much a component of anti-doping. Now, we are required to comply with The regional anti-doping organization is there. And of course, we do not want to be considered as non-compliant in terms of the provisions of the World Anti-Doping Code. Now, we belong to Southeast Asia. In 2006, I happen to be with the group that established the Southeast Asia Regional Anti-Doping Organization. The establishment coincided with the Asian Games that was organized and hosted by Qatar. Now, CIRADO, 11 countries ensure code-compliant anti-doping programs, and CIRADO is there. Of course, the Singapore government is in support of the cause, and that's the reason why it provides financial support for CIRADO operations. So this is Southeast Asia Regional Anti-Doping Organization. Now, in our setting, for us to play through, then we need to engage Filipino athletes to play through, play clean, play fair, no to dope. And this is the task of Pinado, the Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization. Now, Pinado, under the, of course, there is independence from the Philippine Sports Commission in terms of its functions and operations, but of course, funding comes from the Philippine Sports Commission. Then again, Pinado is the entity designated as possessing the primary authority to implement anti-doping rules, direct the collection of samples, manage test results, conduct hearings, and implement and design anti-doping education. So under 2 units, doping control, administrative units. Of course, a part of the system will be a TUE committee, which we're going to discuss, the Therapeutic Use Exemption Committee, Results Management Committee, and a disciplinary panel committee, which is independent of the NADO operations. This should be independent. It has functional independence, operational independence from PSC, and Pinado works with the TUE committee, Results Management Committee, and disciplinary panel for the completion of the task under anti-doping. Now, what is doping? As we discussed and defined earlier, use of prohibited substances and methodologies that should be analytical. Now, understand, violation is both analytical and non-analytical. Analytical is number 1. The presence of prohibited substance in an athlete's sample, blood or urine, means the specimen underwent analysis in an accredited laboratory. But then again, if you look at this presentation, violation means use or attempted use of a prohibited substance, refusing or failure to submit to sample collection after being notified, failure to file your whereabouts if you are a part of a testing pool for 3 missed tests or up to 3 times within a 1 year period, tampering or attempted to tamper any part of the doping control process, possession of prohibited substance, trafficking of a prohibited substance or methodology, administering or attempting to administer a prohibited substance or utilize a prohibited methodology, complicity, prohibited association with a personnel who are ineligible on the basis of being penalized under an anti-doping violation. Anti-doping violation.
Presence, use, possession.
So presence, use, failure, refusing, failure, tampering, possession, trafficking, administering, complicity, and prohibited. All of this will comprise a violation. So a hearing, investigation, and finally the penalties that go with doping. Now, if we look at the work undertaken by WADA, stretched to Danado in our region, Sirado, undertaken by the NADOS, the National Anti-Doping Organization, there are strategies critical in the implementation of the anti-doping program. Of course, today, we're looking at education as a major intervention and approach. So we would like to prevent. And in fact, in clinical medicine, this is the cheapest. Prevention of ill health. So primary prevention inhibit the occurrence of injuries, inhibit the occurrence of disease. So primary prevention. We spend less in prevention and we spend more in detection and deterrence, and there is a reason for that. So what is education? Now, education is so important for the following reasons. It's a mandatory provision in the code. It must be a part of major event rules. So whenever a SEA Games competition, an Asian Games or an Olympic competition is held, there has to be an education component into the existence of the committee's organization and task as well. Number three, of course, with the mandatory provision, we include the doping control guide, the updates to countries leading to the games, and understand being a member of NCPEP, you are a part of the support personnel. So therefore, acceding to this invitation, in a way, we're sharing information to your end so that you become proactive in this fight against doping in sports. So support personnel, be it the coach, be it the athletic trainer, be it the owner of the team, be it the manager, physical therapist, and several more. So athlete support personnel need to be informed. And finally, being educated, in fact, can limit the risk of doping scandals, inadvertent doping. And this area will be common relative to supplementation. What supplements should we allow our athletes to take in? What additional preparation are they allowed? This we need to answer as we go through. Now, why education as a critical component of the anti-doping program? We work with facts to increase knowledge, but we work with values to change behavior. Now, after sharing information, bottom line, we would like to achieve the endpoint in one good educational intervention, which is change behavior. Dapat ang mindset natin will always be play true, play clean, play fair, no to dope. Now, this is the required value. Of course, after talking about the approach intervention being primary, what are your thoughts on this athlete? The name is Rob. So was like many boys, an all-around great kid. He grew up playing basketball, emulating his favorite sports heroes, dreaming of making it to the professional league. As early as high school, Rob was encouraged by some of his coaches to add supplements and other weight gaining compounds to a muscle building training program. In college, he was actually provided creatine as well as weight gainers and protein powders. So this creatine is still legal. So would like to enhance the ATP system, CP ATP system in terms of workout, and still legal as I told you earlier. Now, he was thriving, happy, and successful. His shooting, dribbling, running speed, extremity strength, and defensive skills were considered excellent. So in fact, excellent ang kanyang performance. So as as uh, as a member of NCPEP, as a professional in physical education, as a stakeholder in sports, what are your thoughts on RABSA training program? Is it a good design, or there has to be a redefinition of the program? So of course, you have your answers to this scenario. Going further, what we would like to do is educate in terms of behavior modification looking at values. And these values have been shared to Pinado and the rest of Southeast Asia by Cirado. There are four values Cirado would like to invest time and effort in. Number one, belief in yourself, belief in your capacity to perform, belief in your capacity to support an athlete, and several more. Now, we need to respect people. We need to respect systems. We need to respect the environment. We need to commit ourselves to the Olympism value. We need to commit to play true, play clean, play fair, committing ourselves, looking at what is inherent in our system. We need to persevere so that we go winning ways, which is in the spirit of Olympism. Then again, working our way through, as members of NCPEP, I would like you to take note of the website, World Anti-Doping Agency website, in the net, wada-ama.org. You can download a lot of these educational tools and resources for free. For free ito. Walang copyright dito. You can even customize and translate to your vernaculars. Of course, provided you share with us, you work with us in the setting of customization of these educational tools. What educational tools can you download using the website? wada-ama.org. These are some of the materials that you can download. Definition, prohibited list, anti-doping rule violations, the doping control process, whereabouts, therapeutic use exemption, results management, medical reasons not to dope, ethical reasons not to dope, practical help to stay clean, how to deal with pressures to dope. A lot of times, the reason why people resort to doping is the fact that there are pressures. A child athlete going to a teenage athlete, under pressure, becoming a college athlete, under pressure, finally making it to the amateur rank and ending up in the professional rank. Under pressure, what values will be instilled? What values can be inculcated? So after all, what we would like to achieve will be education-based values in terms of the exposure. These are references that you can download. So again, what is doping, the code, our responsibilities as stakeholders, a good knowledge of the prohibited list, when to resort to application of the TUE, when to apply for a TUE if you're handling an athlete, sample collection, and what are the penalties, consequences. So these are all in the website. You can download for free, and in fact, come up with a print of such materials. Now, if you're in PE, as a professional PE stakeholder, even as a coach, then these are good materials that you can download as well. Coach through everything that we are going to discuss this afternoon and still to discuss, these are all in the available documents. So what do we need to know, imbibe, and put into practice? As again, the challenge is for you to know, imbibe, and put into practice. Scenario number 3. Your athlete mentioned to you that she feels really burned out after practice. But some other athletes always seem ready to be for more. She asked you how they do it. They say that they have been taking steroids for a couple of months and that it gives them the edge to stay on top. What will your response be? Ano kaya ang inyong response dito sa scenario na ito? Nakita nila, there are users in the field. There are questions. What should be your response? Anong ma-formulate yung answer dito sa atleta ninyo? So we'll see how we can respond to this query. Number one, of course, we need to know what the whole health consequences of doping are. Kaakibat sa intake ng substances or even utilization of methodologies, merong health consequences. So merong kaakibat na harm issue. And the reason is these substances have been investigated in the laboratories primarily for one reason. And what is that reason? Para magkaroon ng cure relative to some important diseases. So again, they were investigated, explored in the laboratory, went into clinical trials, phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally was found fit to cure a particular ailment seen amongst us. So merong benefits relative to yung medical conditions. However, they have been explored in the setting of sport. Nalaman nila na even with the harm issues, they can actually enhance performance. And this is where we need to be conscious of. We need to be cautious of. We need to share information. So what are the health consequences? Here are some. So again, nasabi ko na ito, substances or methodologies used by athletes are developed for patients with disease and not entirely for healthy people. So dosage, we are not familiar with if we relate with the effect in order to enhance performance. Some may resort into combination. Therefore, there will be more harm issues. So illegal or counterfeit substances will be in the area as well. So these are deemed side effects. So anabolic steroids. So that which actually builds muscles. So available online, anabolic steroids you can order. They can be delivered. But what we would like to share will be the general side effects. Multi-system affectation, so risk for organ diseases, psychological dependence, increased risk of contracting infectious disease, particularly if the needles used are contaminated. Amongst males, so these are some side effects or harm issues: acne, reduced sperm production, impotence, infertility, enlarged prostate, breast enlargement, premature baldness, libido disorders, increased aggression. Amongst females, acne again, development of the male features, deepening of the voice, excessive hair growth on the face and body, abnormalities in the cycle, increased aggression, alteration of libido. Now, amongst the youth, severe acne on the face and body, premature puberty, and as evidence, stunted growth because of the premature closure of the growth plates, which particularly we need to focus on if we're handling kids in the system under sports. So anabolic steroids. Growth hormones, tremors, sweat anxiety, muscle joint pain, cardiovascular diseases worsen, hypertension, elevated blood pressure, fluid retention, heart enlargement, diabetes, acromegaly, gigantism. These are some harm issues under growth hormones. We usually detect growth hormone releasing factor using the urine sample, but we detect growth hormones relative to blood doping. So two things, urine specimen analysis, and secondly, blood specimen analysis. Growth hormone can be detected through blood analysis, but the releasing factor can be determined using the urine specimen. Stimulants, overheating of the body, problems with coordination, balance, increase in and irregular heartbeat, anxiety, depression, insomnia, dehydration, weight loss. So stimulants come into several packages. We are going to mention some later on. Now, cannabinoids, similar to drunkenness, reduce vigilance, balance coordination, increase heart rate, increase appetite, mood instability, short term, long term, loss of attention, motivation, impaired memory and learning abilities, weakening of the system, respiratory diseases, psychological dependence. Now, if you're asthmatic, we can have either a short-acting beta-2 agonist, salbutamol, marketed as Ventolin. We have long-acting beta-2 agonist amongst our asthmatics. This is the in thing now in terms of management of asthma. It has to be inhalational. We have a long-acting beta-2 agonist plus a steroid. So are these legal? We'll soon find out. Then again, beta-2 agonist, the drugs for asthma control can lead to palpitations, nauseation, sweating, cramping, dizziness, mood disorders. So these are some considerations in beta-2 agonists. Diuretics, particularly in the area where weight is a requirement prior to competitions, prior to participation, there has to be weighing in just to shortcut the process of passing through the required weight level. Some will resort to diuretic intake. Diuretics can lead to loss of coordination, balance, dehydration, in fact, cramping, cardiac disorders, and even drop in blood pressure. So it's illegal. Narcotic agents, agents that will handle pain. Of course, in the physical competitions, in competitions, we exert effort physically. So chances are at some point we do experience pain. Now, pain relief, we need to understand in the setting of narcotics. Narcotic agents can decrease the heart rate, can go into nauseation and vomiting. Athletes, they are sleepiness, constipation, suppression of the respiratory system, and at a certain degree, even death because of this respiratory suppression. So narcotic agents are banned. Now, beta blockers, a very good drug for lowering BP, metoprolol and bisoprolol and several more. In archery, shooting, riflery, darts, these are no-go. There are alternatives, and the fact is if you are on beta blockers, you can easily target what you are aiming for. Therefore, it's an unfair advantage over the rest of the competition. So again, these are good antihypertensive agents, but of course, looking through the availability of other antihypertensive substances or agents, then clearly meron namang tayong choice outside beta blockers. Now, artificial oxygen carriers, reduction in platelet count, stroke, blood vessels, kidney damage, iron overload. We are looking at blood doping, extract blood, store, and put back. So again, extract blood, store, and put back in the system of that athlete. Rejection will be very low. And the fact is, if you transfuse blood just before competition, you increase the available red blood cells. So again, when you transfuse blood, you increase red blood cell in the system, and increased red blood cell will allow you to acquire more oxygen in the air and transport oxygen, it being the vehicle for transport to the muscles in actions or the musculoskeletal system. So one is blood doping. So if this is an international event, then the question is, over the last 3 months, have you undergone blood transfusion? And blood transfusion is in the area of artificial oxygen carriers. Then again, in the clinical setting, as I told you, if hemoglobin is down and you cannot handle a low hemoglobin through oral, then you have to transfuse blood. But then again, in the setting of sports, this can be complications arising from circulatory overload because the individual is healthy, so there is increased risk for several more events tied up with blood doping, and that's the reason why this is prohibited. Now, amongst chronic renal patients who go into anemia, this is very helpful injection of erythropoietin on a monthly schedule. This has been overused in the international cycling circle. The fact is, in Tour de France, so many have been identified to have resorted to erythropoietin injection. The reason is when you inject, red blood cell is enhanced and has the same effect as that of blood doping. And the risk of autoimmune responses will be rather high. Now, glucocorticoids intra-articular, in competition, you have to apply for TUE. It's not legal in competition, but if there is justifiable reason, you can apply for a TUE. Out of competition, intra-articular can be, but then again, we'll talk about this glucocorticoid later. And finally, in terms of the substances and prohibited methodologies, look through what is found as a matter of information under the prohibited list. The prohibited list is a 1-year program of monitoring and repealing. So every year, January 1, the new prohibited list comes out. So this is the 2020 list of prohibited substances and methodologies. This is a single list. Again, current version, it involves or rather includes information on out of competition, in competition, prohibited substances. So this is the prohibited list under the website wada-ama.org. So here you can see a listing of all prohibited substances at all times, in competition, in particular sports. So again, at all times, whether in and out, in competition, and in a particular sports, prohibited list. So that is found in this document. So again, active, dynamic, always made relevant according to what is prevailing, that is the prohibited list. Then again, if we look at this particular slide presentation, be conscious of this principle of strict liability. Now, remember, as coaches, you have to instill discipline in your athletes. Amongst your athletes, you need to remind them, this is for them, coaches, our PE experts, this will be for the athletes. Whatever goes into your system, only you will be responsible. Therefore, they need to be conscious of this principle of strict liability. And why is this so? In international competitions, or even in local where there is doping control, who is targeted? Naturally, the athlete he is or she is. Can coaches, can the team physician, can the team manager be targeted as well? It may be if in the team more than one test positive for prohibited substances or methodologies. Kung more than one, most probably an investigation might ensue for the entire team. So again, who is asked to submit urine? The athlete. Who is asked to agree to blood being drawn for blood doping? The athlete. So therefore, the athlete must know this. The athlete and only the athlete is responsible for what goes into his system. But then again, if you're an athlete, if you're handling your athletes, please, when they consult doctors, when they buy pharmacies, let them be aware of the fact that they are athletes at that level, elite or developmental. They should know that any given medication they should be knowledgeable on. And the fact is, this is where inadvertent or accidental doping lie. Dietary supplementation. So under dietary supplementation. Then again, what if I become sick? Can I not benefit from? You can. You're not. Your right to the best treatment is not taken away from you. So hindi tatanggalin sa yan. You retain that right to best medical treatment. If the best medical treatment lies in the list of prohibited substances and methodologies, what can you do? Take note of this case. At the age of 26, Efren had grown to be a fine, respectable young man. He was firstly committed to his family. He had the highest respect for the parents, for his parents, and was very kind-hearted. He has been a standout basketball athlete from high school to college and was now playing at a semi-professional league. Not the pro itself, but somewhere in between. However, his family doctor decided to prescribe a regular insulin because he found out he has diabetes. So again, from the usual oral hypoglycemic agents for diabetes, he was injected insulin. As a coach of this athlete, what are your thoughts on the family's doctor's recent decision to add a daily regular insulin injection to control blood sugar? If it so happens that Efren is nominated and passes through with flying colors relative to representing the Philippines in a university games, so in a World Youth Games, what should you do? What should you advise your athletes? So again, nabigyan ng insulin, nag-participate sa World University Games, sa World Youth Games, World Youth Olympics. So what need be? What should you do? So again, merong answer dito in terms of PUE. WADA The World Anti-Doping Code, under WADA's jurisdiction, recognizes an athlete's best right to medical treatment. Therefore, the doctor can prescribe. However, there are some substances that need to be disclosed. There are substances that need to be processed under TUE. Ano ba yung therapeutic use exemption? TUE. This is a committee. In fact, we have one. So, therapeutic use exemption. What's the implication? Meron siyang kapansanan. The only available remedy is found in the list prohibited. So, pwede naman provided there is the element of disclosure, there is the element of documentation, there is another element which is disclosure, and finally, an application for TUE. What if you're asthmatic? So meron tayong subset of population na atleta asthmatic. And they are prescribed drugs to control asthma and maintain them for asthma-free period. So these are legal remedies, legal pa ito. The actuations have been measured in such a way that they will not go beyond the threshold which leads to performance enhancement. So again, these are legal remedies. So this is short-acting salbutamol. This is long-acting salmeterol, and this particular preparation, so Symbicort, Seretide, salbutamol, Ventolin, these are all legal. Now, they have been analyzed, and the fact is, given the therapeutic indications, the therapeutic doses will not go beyond the threshold that will lead to performance enhancement. This is no-go. Beta-2 agonist nebulization. As soon as you're nebulized, then chances are you get the dose that goes into that threshold for performance enhancement. So you need to get a TUE. So kailangan dito a therapeutic use exemption. Then again, going further, if you're injured, the athlete is injured, so pwede ba mag intra-articular injection? Yes, but prohibited in competition will be in intravenous, intramuscular. So intravenous, intramuscular, oral, so local, these are all prohibited. So there has to be a TUE processing. Now, narcotic agents prohibited in competition, we need to get a TUE. So kung talagang moderate level of inflammation and pain, pero kailangan mag-participate. Of course, it's a decision shared between the athlete and the team. So this is prohibited. So pwede naman get a TUE. Beta blockers, there are several alternatives. Bawal, where do we prohibit use of beta blockers? Archery, automobile racing, billiards, darts, golf, shooting, snowboarding, skating, underwater sports, and the reason is stabilization of the cardiac output. So this is no-go. There are alternatives, by the way, if we're particularly looking at hypertension. So maraming choices tayo dyan. Now, diuretics, we have some in the past. Para ma-meet yung weight category, the coach will resort to Lasix use or furosemide intake, will diurese, weight will go down, but then again, almost always this leads to suboptimal performance. Again, get a TUE for this. Kailangan ng therapeutic use exemption. So diabetes mellitus is our case, so kailangan niya mag-TUE. Pwede naman ng insulin, but in the setting of an advanced, rather a TUE, therapeutic use exemption. So anabolic steroids, growth hormones, pwede naman, but TUE dapat. So meron mga substances na kailangan ng TUE. So growth hormones, erythropoietin, and several more. But then again, si coach baka mag-prescribe kayo ng supplementals. Take note, itong supplement na ito available online. Maraming bumibili nito. What is in a dust? So again, 1, 2, 3, kagad pag nag-take ang atleta na target sa competition, positive kagad ang resulta ng urine specimen. So C4 is caffeine. So again, we take note of caffeine as a stimulant, but it's not included in the list. But this is concentrated caffeine. So we need to be conscious of. So blood transfusion, get a TUE. Blood, rather intravenous hydration, TUE dapat yan. Hindi pwede magswero bago competition. For no reason, kailangan may medical justifiable reason. So pwede naman mag-apply. The thing is, kapag nag-apply, there has to be a good waiting period. There is a waiting period. You cannot take the substance kapag wala pang approval. You need to take the substance once approved. However, emergencies, you can apply retroactively. Now, if the athlete is international level, federation. If the athlete is local level, National Anti-Doping Org. So remember, NADO, Pinado in our setting. So rules to note. It is clear that education programs focus on prevention. So scenario number 5. Ito si Tony, mukhang taker ng prohibited list. However, na-test siya, negative ang results. Negative ang urine. What would have been the reason for a negative test? And there is a strong awareness that prohibited substance have been taken into his system, has been in his system. Paano nag-negative? Sagutin natin yan. Ang test dapat nasa WADA accredited laboratory, in competition, out of competition. Na-test siya sa local local laboratory. What's in a local laboratory? Ang present lang doon sa local laboratory for drug testing will be very limited doon sa addicting drugs. But then again, yung pinag-uusapan nating mundo ay sport doping. So it has to be in a WADA accredited laboratory. Kanya siya negative. Negative nga siya sa cannabinoid, marijuana, cannabis, and several more. The fact is sa local laboratory lang. Hindi pwede ito. Dapat sa WADA accredited laboratory. So therefore, we need to test. Paano naman natetest? Targeted based on risk assessment, high risk ba in sports? Nagkaroon ba ng history? May incentive ba doon sa atleta? Right now, it's smart testing for doping control. This is undertaken particularly in major events. Smart testing, that is, now, meron na tayong tinatawag na golpe de gulat testing, which is out of competition testing. Smart testing pa rin yan, but based on a test distribution program. So we do in competition, we do out of competition. So proseso yan. From notification to submission of documents to specimen and several more is a process. It's altogether another skills training. Now, here is where you come in to the picture. If you're a PE stakeholder, part ka ng team, naging coach ka, naging administrator ka, what is accidental doping? Just in case you are not aware of, the supplement itself does not contain substances which are prohibited, but yung manufacturing niya contaminated. Previous to that batch, mukhang nag-manufacture ng substances na nandun sa prohibited list. Kaya hindi masyadong nalinis, the next batch contaminated siya. Or yung kumpanya, non-disclosure. Maraming supplements, merong element of non-disclosure. Chances are, baka if taken in, merong prohibited substance. Take the case of the SEA Games in Malaysia. It's a choco supplement, pero they found out merong sibutramine. Nag-test siya positive. Then again, remember, automatic investigation of us, yung athlete support personnel, kapag merong violation sa minor or more than one athlete have been tested for doping rules. So remember that. So going further, meron namang investigation, fair naman ng investigation, may chance ang ating atleta para ma-manage ang kanyang situation. If it need be, there is an investigation. It's a process, by the way, para legal. Above technical, pwede mag-appeal. Ang last area will be Court of Arbitration in Sport. So may possible sanctions, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, a month, so depending nasa investigation. Last but not the least, under strategies, bago tayo matapos dito sa doping control. RTP, ang ating mga international athletes, some of them belong to a registered testing pool. Pinado, we have a testing pool, elite athletes. So dapat, they are asked to share whereabouts. Itong whereabouts information, day in, day out, sinasabi nila kung saan ang training, kung saan ang competition, they have to do it quarterly. It's Adams-based website. Kailangan ipasok ang information so that when they are tested out of competition, merong proseso, above board technical pa rin. So kailangan isiwalat nila ang information about their whereabouts. And this is tied up with ADAMS, Anti-Doping Administrative Management System. Dito natin inilalagay lahat ng information so that if you're tested internationally, meron kang site dito, your name will appear. So if it's negative, then you're good. If it's positive, then everybody else will come to know that you were positive at some point. So it's a partnership. Therefore, having said that, I like this idea of having Pinado to this webinar. This is good, where we should be coordinating, we should be sharing ideas, we should be investing resources. Your group, NCPEP, need to commit to doping-free sports environment in the Philippines. So ano yung battle cry natin? Play true, play clean, play fair, no to dope. So yan ang ating challenge sa inyo. So be with us, commit yourselves. Again, if you want to have this out right now, just raise your hands and follow after me so that you commit yourselves. I have the right to participate in a clean sport.
Doc, may I request all the participants to open their camera here on the Zoom so that you can have our anti-doping pledge and commitment. Also, our friends or audience from in our FB Live, you can join us for the anti-doping pledge and commitment brought to you by PSC and Phinado. May I request everyone to please turn on your camera so that we can have our pledge and commitment for anti-doping.
So we are partners in this endeavor. So this is the anti-doping pledge and commitment. Kindly follow after me. I have the right to participate in a clean sport.
I have the right to participate in a clean sport.
I will embrace the spirit of sport values.
I will embrace the spirit of sport values.
Respect everyone involved.
Respect everyone involved.
My sport.
My sport.
And all those involved in my sporting endeavors at all times.
And all those involved in my sporting endeavors at all times.
I commit to play true.
I commit to play true.
Play clean.
Play clean.
Play fair.
And play fair.
As well as reject doping in all its forms.
As well as
reject doping in all its forms.
Congratulations for taking the oath and committing yourselves to this fight against doping in sports. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagsali. Now you're committed. Yan.
Thank you very much, Doc
Thank you.
Pineda, and to all our Zoom participants or members of NCPEP, and also with our audience from the FB Live. Thank you very much, Doc.
So if you have concerns, ito ang aming contact numbers.
Yan. Okay, so any questions from, to Doc Pineda, you can email him at psc.phinado@gmail.com, or you can visit their website at phinado.psc.gov.ph. You can also visit their Facebook, Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization, or Instagram at Phinado _official. And also you can email Alex Pineda, md@gmail.com, and also ionrivera@gmail.com for TUE committee head. Yeah, thank you very much, Doc Pineda. I think you're finished already with our anti-doping lecture, a discussion, Doc. We can open the question and answer portion for the anti-doping session. But before we proceed to that, for the information of everyone, that today's topic or webinars, we have two sessions, Doc, diba? We have the anti-doping, and the second session will be the hydration. And this webinar is brought to you by NCPEP together with the Rotary Club of Jose Abad Santos, Manila. And we would like to acknowledge the presence of course, of our past presidents, Girly Chu. We also have past president Winston Chu is there already in our Zoom. PP Johnson Tan also is there. Welcome, ma'am and sir. And also our partners from Philippine Sports Commission, particularly in office of PSC Commissioner Charles Raymond Maxi, and also our Phinado partners, anti-doping team. We have Miss Andrea Maxi, also Miss Zenny Rolion, a birthday girl. Na happy birthday, Ma'am Zenny. Thank you for joining us in today's webinar. And also Miss Stephanie Pagarigan from Phinado anti-doping team. Also, this webinar is sponsored by Pocari Sweat. I would like to acknowledge also our friends from Pocari Sweat. Ma'am Nelly Ramos is there also. Miss Rachel Sale and Mr. Jeff Yongko. Maraming pong salamat. Pocari Sweat, also Phinado and Philippine Sports Commission, and of course, Rotary Club of Jose Abad Santos. Now, let's open our floor for the Q&A. Doc, I saw some questions already here in our FB Live first.
What's the question about?
Wait lang po, I'll just check again. Okay, so this one is from Professor Jennifer Gravador de la Cruz. Is that possible to include the requirement of the players to be submitted during the screening of the drug test?
Yung screening kasi, per se, what we would like to do is the athletes answering yung questionnaire on anti-doping. Kasi kapag yung testing ay part of the examination screening, medyo mahal siya kasi ang isang test ay around $250 to $500 per A sample.
Yes.
Ang A sample is naglalaro between 250 to 500 depending on what we would like to analyze and get as a matter of result. So, kanya sinabi ko kanina, education will be relatively cheaper as compared to testing kasi sa testing, merong requirement for paying yung analysis. Yung analysis natin, by the way, ang doping kit per se, dapat gamitin natin yung accredited kit. It is about $15 to $25 ang kit. And then yung test A, naglalaro between 250 to 500. Pag nag-positive yung A, another 250 to 500 yung B sample. So medyo mahal. Kanya ang ginagawa natin sa competition, targeted. For the SEA Games that got concluded last December, thousands of athletes na nag-participate, we did about 600 tests. Yun yung pinondohan natin, 600 tests. So medyo may kamahalan. So mas maganda, I can share with you the questionnaire on anti-doping, yung anti-doping questionnaire. Pwede siyang isama sa screen. Makikita natin kung merong poor awareness, may risk for the things that we mentioned today. Yan ang sagot doon, Ana.
Yes, Doc, thank you very much. So that we can also send to our members those
Yep.
the questionnaire, so that we can also
Yep.
inform everyone and this, as you have said already, that education is the much more cheaper compared to the testing kits, and also the
Definitely.
conducted a lot of seminars. Yes. Another question,
Definitely.
Doc. What if the athletes drink a lot of energy drink like Extra Jaws, Cobra, and Sting? This is from Emerson Trinidad Latasa from our FB page also, participant.
Again, yung ating yung energy drinks, itatackle natin later dun sa hydration. Yung energy drink is in itself energy. Hindi siya hydration formula in performance. So meron pagkakaiba yung energy drink at saka yung rehydration, yung ion supply drink. Malayo ang pagkakaiba niyan. Now, in the past, itong mga energy drinks na to, caffeine ang content nito eh. Mas malaking dosage ng caffeine kumpara doon sa kape sa isang tasa. So, kanya may mabuboost ka, gigising ka. Then again, sa athletic performance, meron tayong basehan para sabihin na nakakagalaw yung atleta ng tama. So, i-touch natin mamaya sa hydration part nitong talk natin.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Okay, thank you, Doc. So stay tuned, Mr. Emerson, para doon sa question mo a while ago. Another one is from Coach Julius Alcantara, season from FB group, FB page also. In our local school, regional and national competition setting, how can we be able to implement anti-doping process to ensure that athletes are free from prohibited substance, since testing for such is expensive? Is there a way that we can able to screen athletes before the competition?
Again, ang paraan dyan as espoused by the World Anti-Doping Education is every sporting event meron siyang education component. So ibig sabihin, we give away, ito mga pinakita ko sa inyo kanina, yung available online sa WADA. Itong materials na ito ang i-share natin sa karamihan. Even elite athletes, even athletes in the developmental pool, ganun rin ang recommend ko. You can contact us, we can work together para itong mga materials na to mai-share doon sa nakararami na participants doon sa inyong major events. Mas maganda, sharing of these educational materials as a part of the intervention. Kapag alam nila, they become aware, as evidenced by yung mga published data, bumababa yung gamit. So, consciousness, in fact, yan ang magagawa natin. Ngayon, pwede naman in an event, merong maliit na porsyento i-google para sa testing. Hindi lahat itetest, pero aware ang lahat, anyone can be targeted. Maliit na bilang, pero lahat aware na merong doping control process in place. Ginagawa yan sa international events rin. So just the mere fact na aware sila, merong may doping violations, may doping control process, meron namang paraan na legal, ma-handle natin yung risk for doping, whether international or local or regional, as we got from the question, Anna.
Yes. Thank you, Doc. Sir Romelito Razon from FB, I think Doc Pineda already answered your question. It's almost the same. So I think the best way that we can do that is the questionnaire. Okay, that we can also include in our screening of our athletes before the start of the competition. Okay, also, Doc, yung regarding nga po, there are some questions also here in the group chat. So yung mga energy drink, is that there are some substances already prohibited by WADA, right? Yung mga Lipovitan, Red Bull.
Hindi, dati kasama ang coffee doon sa prohibited list. So when I joined the commission, caffeine is under the stimulant component ng bad substances, but tinanggal siya under monitoring at this time. But then again, yung energy drink in sports, that we need to take a look at or listen to. Kung ang kailangan natin ay hydration, baka hindi yan ang paraan. Kasi kapag caffeine, magdadayuri sila.
Yes.
Iihi
I
sila.
agree.
May mga may discussion points tayo diyan sa energy drinks na yan.
Thank you, Doc. How about yung changing natin or updating our list of prohibited substances, Doc?
Every year.
Yes. Yan. Okay.
Every year yan. In fact, one good example, si Sharapova.
Opo.
Di ba si Sharapova, one of the
10.
well-known in the female circuit. Very good. Then again, in 2015, ano siya, na-prescribe siya ng cardiac drug. Meron siyang cardiac condition, na-prescribe siya. But yung Australian Open that she competed, January 15 yung Australian Open that she competed, January 1, January 1 prohibited list came out. Di ba yung prohibited list every January 1 napapublishan. In that year, January 1, na-include yung gamot na tinitake niya. And it so happened that she participated in the Australian Open, January 15 ang first game niya. Ayun, nag-positive siya doon sa ano, na-penalize siya. Kahit merong medical justifiable reason. Kasi may mga elements na kailangan ma-fulfill. And that's the reason why she got penalized for 18 months, I think, or about less than 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. But she's back, definitely.
Even if,
Yan,
Doc,
ang
even
sagot
if
doon.
hindi siya talagang intentionally na ginawa or
Yeah po. Proseso pa rin. Dapat alam nung entourage niya,
correct,
na January 1,
papalit.
yung binibigay nila sa atleta nila, yung team niya, aware na kasama na siya doon sa prohibited list. Kasi ano ito, international circuit ito, female tennis, she's a part of, maganda ang placing niya. So yung team niya should have been conscious enough para i-take off and prescribe another, or yung doctor niya, most probably.
Okay, thank you, Doc. This is very informative discussion about anti-doping. I know there are a lot of coaches there and also PE teachers watching us and also here in our Zoom group chat. And they will get they learned a lot from your discussion, Doc. Kasi talagang as a coach, you have to guide your athletes kasi hindi talaga din nila alam niya regarding, and they really want to drink a lot of energy drinks na if they proceed to elite competitions, that these are not allowed, especially if they are in the elite competitions like that, they have anti-doping committee or anti-doping.
Yung mga supplements, yun ang natin, yung message yung supplements. So it may be na malinis tignan yung supplement, pero yung manufacturing, yung content, non-disclosure, these are things a coach should be knowledgeable on. Yan ang ating
Talagang public awareness is very important, Doc, no?
Yep.
Maraming salamat, Doc Pineda. I think that's it for our questions for the anti-doping. So please, okay, we can proceed now, Doc, for hydration topic that you will discuss to us.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Doc. So once again, let's give a round of applause or virtual cup to Dr. Pineda to discuss the hydration. I am so sorry, Doc.
Thank you.
May I request Ma'am Rachel Sale? Ma'am Nelly and Ma'am Rachel. And this is the most awaited part of our session because there are a lot of asking us regarding our games for Pocari Sweat. Okay, from Pocari Sweat, Ma'am Rachel, you can share your screen. Yan, sorry.
Thank you, Miss Ada.
Okay, go. Take it away.
Yan. So, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Miss Ana. And thank you, Dr. Alex Pineda, for a very informative discussion. So, yan. So, once again, good afternoon to our dear participants. I'm Rachel Sale, a consumer relations specialist from Otsuka Solar Philippines Incorporated, handling Pocari Sweat. So, let us play a game. Yan. So, our game is called Guess the Emoji. So, familiar naman po ba tayo sa mga emojis? I'm sure you are all quite familiar with the emojis where we usually use it on our text or chat messages and especially of course sa social media. So yan. So ang game natin, ulitin ko lang po, is guess the emoji. Yan. And here's the mechanics. So a series of emojis or emoticons will be shown and you have to guess what each emoji represents to complete a word or phrase. So ang hint natin, some of the words or phrases are related to the topic or lecture. So dapat make sure that nakinig po tayo kanina sa discussion ni Dr. Pineda. So yan, the first name who will appear in the chat box or FB live comments who type the right answer will be the winner. Syempre, meron po tayong dalawang viewers ulit rito. We have Zoom viewers and merong Facebook Live viewers. So, what are we going to do is, the first question will be intended to the Zoom viewers, while for our second questions will be answered by the Facebook Live viewers, and this we will do it alternately. So, third, this is like a charade but using emoji. And lastly, wrong spelling is wrong. Yan. So, kung ready na tayo, please type game na. Yan, pa-type nga po kung talagang ready na. Yan, game na. Okay? For our first emoji, ayan. Sorry, for example po. So, we have here our example. So we have an images of family and a camera. So you have to give the meaning of this, which is family picture. Second, meron po tayong picture ng praying hands and an image of water or wave, which means holy water. So for our third example, meron tayong mail or mailing box, and then meron tayong boxing gloves, which means mailbox. So very easy, right? Okay. So let us be ready. For our Zoom viewers, you have to guess the emoji here. So for our Zoom viewers, please be reminded para po ito sa ating mga Zoom viewers. You have to type the right answer sa ating chat box. Yan. Alright, we have our first winner. So congratulations to our Zoom viewers, Miss Andrea Bentres. So ang meaning po niyan is no to dope or no to anti-dope. No to doping. Alright. Punta naman tayo sa ating Facebook Live viewers. For our Facebook Live viewers, ready na po ba? Okay, for our Facebook Live viewers, you have to guess these emojis. Sa ating Facebook viewers. Okay, let's take a look if meron nang sumagot sa ating Facebook Live viewers. Okay. Yan, ready na ang ating mga Facebook Live viewers. So you have to guess these emojis. Ayan, mukhang yung iba nahihirapan. Wala pa po tayo right answer. Ayan, so meron na tayo. Thank you. Congratulations to Mr. Jade Cruz. So ang answer niya po is clean sport. So tama po si Mr. Jade Cruz. Okay, let us proceed for our next emojis. So punta ulit tayo sa ating Zoom viewers. Alright, for our Zoom viewers, you have to guess these emojis. Ayan. So ano po kaya ito? Sana mahulaan nila. Medyo mahirap siya. Yan. Ayan, meron na po tayong first winner, third winner. So, congratulations to Miss Maribel Aquino. So, she answered Phinado. Yan. Congratulations to Miss Maribel Aquino. Okay, next. For our next emoji, punta uli naman tayo sa ating Facebook Live. So sa ating mga Facebook Live viewers, ito po ang ating guess the emoji. Ayan. So for our clue, it promotes and coordinates and monitor the fight against drugs in sports. Check nga natin if meron na tayong winner. Mukhang wala pa po tayong right answer.
Wala pa.
Mukhang si Dr. Pineda ang makakasagot.
Oo nga, alam ko na.
Pwede ba kaming sumagot?
Oo, sila Miss Ana. Mukhang alam din nila Miss Ana.
Sirit na.
Kahit wala pa po tayo sa ating Facebook Live viewers. Ayan, meron na po tayong
Sumagot na,
winner.
Miss.
Yes po, meron na si Mr. Romelito C. Razon. And ang answer niya is World Anti-Doping Agency. Correct. Tama po.
Very good.
Yan, very good. And congratulations to Mr. Romelito C. Razon. Yan. Congratulations to our winner. And you will receive a 1 case of Pocari Sweat. So, please stay tuned as we have our second game right after our next discussion po. Going back to Miss Ana.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Rachel, and
you
also
so much,
for
Miss
our
Ana.
friends from Pocari Sweat. So please stay tuned later after the talk of Doc Pineda for hydration. So we will have another set of games for you and more prizes from Pocari Sweat. So once again, let's give a round or virtual clap to our source speaker to discuss the science of body fluids and its impact on hydration, Professor Alejandro V. Pineda Jr.
Maraming salamat, Ana, again. So, the science of body fluids. The goals of presentation: understand the science of body fluids, describe the impact of body fluid state on hydration, explain the impact of body fluid state on, explain the impact of hydration on athletic performance, yung number 3. And to recognize the importance of choosing a clinically proven and safe ion supply drink to prevent dehydration. Again, yung number 3 natin, to explain the impact of body fluid state of hydration on athletic performance, particularly yung tanong kanina on energy drinks. Is there a room for energy drinks dito? Again, we'll find out. So, 2 questions in our daily life. Are we drinking the right drink for each drinking occasion? Yan, diyan papasok yung tanong kanina. Tama ba uminom tayo ng energy drink? The fact is, mataas sa caffeine, iba't ibang klase, may kanya-kanyang sipa. So, depende on ano ang threshold ng ating katawan sa pagtanggap ng caffeine sa ating system. So, ibig sabihin nito, double strength, triple strength, yung coffee content nitong energy drinks. But in reality, kailangan ba natin ng energy drinks? Kung tama naman ang training, kung tama naman ang tulog, kung tama naman ang kilos, we can actually persevere based on what is inherent sa atin at hindi na kailangan ng caffeine. Then again, are we helping our bodies get what they really need? Tama yung tanong kanina. So dapat makapag-save tayo. Kung hindi tayo bibili ng energy drink, baka naman kailangan natin good iron supply drink, which is our sponsor this afternoon. So Pocari Sweat. So then again, why is the hydration critically important? Whenever we are, whatever we do, hydration is really important. So importante talaga itong hydration na to. And the reason is we would like to be healthy, positive, lively, bubbly, cheerful, and progressive and functioning well. Healthy hydration will lead to better performance. Kapag maganda ang hydration natin, tatagal tayo. Pag maganda ang performance natin, high yield tayo. So kung trabaho to, high work productivity. Kung atleta ito, magandang athletic performance. So hindi ka mamumulikat, hindi ka himatayin, hindi ka mai-stroke. Pwede ka mai-stroke sa dehydration, in fact. So importante talaga ang hydration. Are you aware? I'm sure you are. Nasa PE kayo. Our bodies are made up of liquids. So I am senior. Nasa 50 to 55% na ako. Most of you will be in the adult stage, 60%. Our kids, nasa 70%. So again, made up of liquids, mataas na porsyento. Ang question, plain water lang ba siya? I suppose not. And the reason is, meron siyang kasama na ions or electrolytes. So sodium, chloride, magnesium, calcium, potassium. So it's water plus ions. So kailangan natin ng sodium para maganda ang ating regulation ng osmotic pressure, yung function ng ating muscles, ganoon rin ang potassium, transmission of nerve signals para sa ating muscles para maganda ang trabaho. So magnesium, contact muscles, contraction ng muscles rather, calcium sa bone health, chloride, secretion ng hydrochloric acid. You do need hydrochloric acid as well. So electrolytes perform many critical functions. At nagtutulong-tulong yan every day para maproseso ang ating substances sa katawan para maka-function tayo well. So yan ang ating ion supply. So going back, kung maganda ang hydration natin, we function well. So regulation ng moisture sa ating katawan, protection ng body organs, maganda ang ating poo, maganda ang ating wee. So ma-dissolve ang mga minerals, nutrients na in-intake natin para ma-distribute. So nutrients, oxygen, reduces the burden on the kidney. Pag lagi tayong dehydrated, maagang bibigay ang kidney, particularly yung kanyang function, so renal function, crickety joints, so lubrication ng joints. But more importantly, as we set ourselves dito sa inyong PE environment, alam natin, body fluids will regulate body temperature. So body temperature regulation ang importante. So our very own body will have, in fact, every system, everywhere, merong fluid component. 90% sa lungs, 82% sa blood, 80% sa skin, 75% sa muscle, 70% sa brain, 22% sa bone. So yan ang katunayan. Then again, fact number 3. Kung ito ang kailangan ipasok natin sa system natin, 2.5 liters per day, ganyan rin karami ang pwedeng lumabas kung hindi tayo magre-replace. So again, ganito karami dapat ang ipasok natin. The same number might go out if we do not replace. So average intake natin, 1.5 ml beverages 750 mil, foods 30%, metabolism 10%. So ito yung pumapasok sa atin. 1,500 mils fluids alone. Then again, pwede tayong mawalan. Paano tayo nawawalan ng tubig sa katawan? Urine 60%, yung ating poo 4%, yung ating sweat may 8%, pero hindi natin alam itong insensible water loss. Ano ba ang insensible water loss? Malaki yan, 700 mil pwedeng mawala kapag humihinga tayo ng matindi. Kailan tayo hinga matindi? Tignan natin. Then again, ito ang pag-asa information na pick up ko today. Ito yung today. Recorded at Pag-asa Weather Station, Science Garden, Diliman, Quezon City. Yesterday ito. 34.6 ang maximum, 25.2 ang minimum. Medyo malamig. Alam naman natin ang ating average every day, naglalaro between 28 to 32 degrees. Tanong ko, itong air temperature na to, ito ba ang nararamdaman ng ating katawan? Is this the one we actually feel or experience as a matter of heat? I suppose dapat malaman natin. In a country like the Philippines, as PE stakeholders, dapat alam natin yung environmental stressors in physical performance. Alam dapat natin ang interplay ng heat at saka relative humidity. So again, it's an interplay of heat, yung actual air temperature, at saka yung ating relative humidity. So what does it mean? Yung interplay ng air temperature at saka ng relative humidity, yan ang apparent temperature or what our human body perceives the heat to be. Ito yung nararamdaman natin. Hindi natin nararamdaman yung air temperature, but nararamdaman natin yung air temperature coupled with relative humidity. Therefore, high relative humidity, higher ang temperature. So again, high relative humidity, higher ang temperature. So heat index between 27 to 32 degrees. So ito yung napaperceive ng katawan natin, yung init, air temperature plus humidity. Ang init na 27 to 32, pwede ka mag-cramps. 32 to 41, pwede ka mapagod, mag-syncope, himatayin. So heat cramps, heat syncope. So mas marami ang heat syncope, hinihimatay dahil sa tindi ng init. So heat index yan. Then again, ito ang Pag-asa forecast today. Yung init factor in Manila may hit 41 degrees this week. Bothered ba kayo? Mababother ba kayo sa init factor na 41 this week? End of this week, which is now and Sunday, tomorrow. So medyo mainit yan. Ano yung actual temperature? So tignan natin yung actual temperature. 41 ng init factor. 41 na init factor. Oh. So again, ang temperature natin 34, pero mataas ang relative humidity. So tingnan natin 92%. So therefore, baka hindi natin makayanan ang ating init factor or heat index. So then again, anong pwede mangyari? Pwede tayo mag-cramps, pwede tayo mag-syncope. So with 41, matindi na yan. Pwede tayong mag-heat exhaustion, mapagod. Then again, baka may stroke tayo kung hindi tayo handa. So ibig sabihin dapat handa tayo. Pag na-stroke ka, high case fatality rate yung stroke na yan. So may paraan para maiwasan natin itong mga heat-related illnesses na to. Kung ano sila, pag-usapan natin. Blast from the past. Heat stroke kills. Tandaan natin yan. May mga namatay. In the past, last year, nag-warn rin ang DOH, matindi ang tagal ng init ng panahon last year. Medyo El Nino last year. Maraming araw na mataas ang init factor or heat index. So, kailangan, we need to be conscious of this fact. So, whatever we generate, kailangan ma-dissipate. Hindi natin pwedeng ma-store kasi pag na-store natin, magka-cramps tayo. So, kailangan natin maglabas ng init sa katawan. Paano tayo naglalabas ng init sa katawan? Again, kung merong cold object, ilalapit natin sa katawan natin, lalamig yung part na malapit sa cold object. Kung may air current, makakatulong yan sa pagbaba ng temperature. Kahit yung electric fan lang, mainit na singaw pero actually nakakababa ng temperature yan. Then again, radiation, nasa air condition ako ng room, malamig. Pag pinatay ko yung condition ng room, mainit, chances are yung aking temperature tataas. Then again, ano ang main reason kung main form para ma-dissipate ang heat? Magpawis tayo. Magpawis tayo, mag-evaporate. So rest, nakikinig kayo sa akin ngayon, radiation. Nakikinig kayo sa akin ngayon, radiation ang nagpe-prevail. Mababa ang evaporation ninyo. Ano ibig sabihin ng radiation? Kung nasa malamig kayong room, yung radiant energy dyan, cooler. Pero pag nag-perform kayo mamaya, mag-exercise kayo, ang magiging main form, yung evaporation na. So then again, alam natin, pag mainit, ang ating system, tataas ang body temperature, magkakaroon tayo ng capacity to increase blood flow para mag-sweat tayo. Ang pangangailangan lang dito, adequate hydration para ma-handle natin yung predisposition natin sa heat-related illnesses. So we need to fight dehydration 24/7. Dehydration occurs when body loses more water than the amount consumed. So kailangan nag-re-replace tayo. But then again, ayaw nating ma-dehydrate. Ayaw natin bumagsak ang katawan natin. Kailangan makapag-dissipate tayo ng heat, mag-respond yung ating katawan. Bakit? Above 40 degrees, pwede tayong may stroke. Below 40 degrees, pwede tayong madaling mapagod. So, pag-usapan natin yan. So, again, ang sabi ko kanina, mataas na yung temperature, tataas pa yung humidity, mas na tayong predisposed sa heat-related illnesses. Increased solar radiation, pag nasa labas tayo, we receive yung heat from the sun, we receive heat from the surface. So, kailangan well-protected tayo plus hydrated tayo. Particularly in areas where wind is absent. So, mas magiging humid yan. Then again, alamin natin, sa pangangatawan natin, we can do something about para maiwasan natin ang heat-related illnesses. Again, kanya-kanyang paraan, pero may standards yan, tignan natin mamaya. So, understand, kapag nagde-dehydrate tayo, very clear ang evidence, bababa yung ating kilos, bababa yung ating cognition, bababa ang ating performance. Hihintayin ba natin mauhaw tayo para mag-hydrate tayo? I suppose you should not. Bakit? 1% dehydration na ang time na kumilos ka, matindi ang pawis mo, maramdaman mo yung uhaw, baka late na. 1% dehydration ka na. So kailangan mabilis ang pag-replenish natin. Bakit? Bumabagsak ang performance natin kapag dehydrated tayo. Therefore, kaibigan natin, understand, kaibigan natin ang thirst. However, wag nating hintayin. We do not wait for thirst to set in. We need to hydrate well so that there comes a point na yung ating function patuloy, particularly in the sports setting. It's an interplay of the brain, the heart, and the kidney working together para ma-handle yung ating water state, yung ating hydration state. So when compared to adults, tandaan natin ng kids, mas mataas ang heat relative to body mass, mas mataas ang kanilang production ng heat, low sweating capacity kasi hindi pa mature, and mas madaling mag-increase ang core body temperature nila, kanya madali silang ma-dehydrate. So ano ang kaibahan ng bata? Ang bata, tandaan natin, hindi pa ganun ka-develop ang sweating mechanisms. So yung sweating mechanisms, hindi pa ganun ka-develop so that yung kanilang exercise tolerance time is shorter, yung core body temperature nila rises at with dehydration faster. So meron ba kayong kids na humihingi ng tubig dahil humihingi sila ng tubig kahit hindi sila uhaw? Seldom yan. Ang bata, uhaw na uhaw bago uminom ng tubig. In fact, ang inom nila ng tubig tuwing meals lang, hindi pa sapat. So we need to understand yung ating comparison. So worst scenario, pwede naman nating ma-handle yung dehydration natin. Then again, kailangan natin tandaan, yung ating intake should not be, kung dehydrated ka na, huwag ka na mag-energy drink. Nanlambot ka dahil sa dehydration, tapos mag-energy drink ka. Nako, lalong babagsak ang iyong system. Kasi ang energy drink, caffeine content, iihi ka lalo. Di wala nang mariretain sa system mo, lalo ka ma-dehydrate. So, better still, iron supply drink ang ating advice doon sa tanong kanina. So walang room sa akin ang energy drink, unless of course kailangan gisingin, pero may paraan naman para inherently maganda ang gising at pangangatawan ng ating mga atleta. Then again, para maiwasan natin ang dehydration, we need to understand etong heat-related illnesses. What are they? More heat is created than what the body can dissipate. Yan ang tawag na heat-related illnesses. And one of them, benign, heat cramps. Less benign, heat syncope, yung hinihimatay sa loob ng simbahan dahil maraming tao tapos mainit. Nako, manlalamig yan, mawawalan ng blood supply sa brain yan, mag-loss of consciousness yan, papaypayan yan, tatabi ang mga tao. Mahirap ata yan ngayon, COVID-19. So wala namang mass gathering ng tao. But then again, yung element of the sun. So exhaustion, pagod, heat stroke, ito yung life-threatening variety. So commonly, heat cramps, meron tayong muscle spasm, mabilis ang pulso, pero normal ang BP natin. Chances are, secondary whole body salt depletion ang nangyari. Kapag nagpapawis tayo, hindi napapalitan yung water content plus yung ion supply natin bumabagsak. So, ano ang commonest na muscle cramps area? Gastrocnemius, commonest muscle cramps area, gastrocnemius. Ang worry natin, particularly sa mga football games coverage, sometimes umangat sa abdomen, do sa tiyan. Nako, delikado yan. So kailangan mapahinga na yan. We need to come up with a good program para ma-handle yung progressive dehydration. Kasi yung muscle cramps pwedeng pumunta sa abdominal cramps. The pain is localized, triggered by repetitive movements. So again, kailangan mag-intravenous hydration tayo kapag may abdominal cramps. So ito yung mga hinihimatay, heat collapse, parang naupos na kandila, nawala sa ating paningin, biglang bumagsak. So yun yung heat collapse. Napagod, nag-dehydrate, nawala ng electrolytes, nag-react ang ating lungs. So itong manifestation sa heat syncope, rectal temperature less than 40 degrees centigrade, pero walang central nervous system dysfunction. So again, ang ating heat exhaustion patient less than 40 degrees centigrade, rectal temperature, absence of serious CNS. This will differentiate heat exhaustion from syncope. Stroke rather. Ang stroke, greater than 40 degrees centigrade rectal, may loss of consciousness na. So pag pumasok dito, ICU management na ito, mataas ang case fatality rate, so kailangan intensive ang ating management program dito. So nang sa ganon, pag alam natin heat cramps, heat syncope, exhaustion, heat stroke, alam natin kung paano kikilos. After all, ayaw natin masagad ang ating system. What we would like to do is be prepared for any eventuality. Ayaw natin the time when there will be damage in the central nervous system, particularly brain, at saka yung circulation, yung status, kasi yung heat stroke can really kill. So again, preventable kung alam natin itong mga diniscuss natin today. So therefore, 24 hours, kailangan properly hydrated tayo. So properly hydrated tayo, 24 hours. So sabi ko kanina, thirst may be a late indicator of the need to rehydrate. Over thirst, kailangan alam natin yung kulay ng ihi natin. Number 1. Number 2, kailangan alam natin yung volume na lumalabas sa ating pag-urinate. So number 1, ang pinakamagandang kulay dito, 1, 2, 3. Well hydrated ka kapag ang color ng urine mo ay 1, 2, 3. Nako, problema pag 6, 7, 8. Ibig sabihin kailangan ka ng mag-replace. So matindi ito, mahihirapan yung kidney natin mag-function. So clear tayo doon. Ngayon, bakit kailangan ng iron supply drink yung ating rehydration formula? Alam natin ang pawis, nawawalan tayo ng tubig plus ions. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, lactate, and several more. So yung pawis natin, may kaakibat na loss rin ng ion. So kung matindi ang pawis, matindi rin ang magiging epekto sa ating system. Pag bumagsak ang potassium, nako, hindi na makakatayo yan. Malambot ang tuhod. Then again, the same holds true for potassium. Pag over naman ang potassium, may problema rin sa puso, yung pagtibok ng puso. Sweating causes both a decrease in plasma volume, yung water, and increase in body fluid osmolarity because of the loss of yung ions. Therefore, ano ang magandang formula for hydration? Rather than energy drink, para ma-rehydrate, mag-take ako ng good ion supply drink. A good ion supply drink will have fluids plus yung dapat na ma-recover natin, losses natin, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, even chloride. So, yan ang importante. So, therefore, ion supply drink ang ating piliin. Yung merong electrolytes, merong carbohydrates. Physiologic first aid, pag ininom natin at the time na kailangan natin, meron tayong source ng energy, kaunti, meron tayong paraan para maibalik yung ating ions doon sa kanilang level. Depende na doon sa ating choices, depende na kung ano ang ating state of hydration. So ang ion supply drink, merong 6 to 8% carbohydrates. Kailangan natin ng 6 to 8. Below 6, hindi magpa-function yan. Above 8, masyado ng mga tamis, sugary na yan. So dapat tama lang between 6 to 8. Just enough para ma-tide over tayo, magkaroon ng source ng calorie at that point, and para matulungan natin pumasok ang ating electrolytes. So again, importante ang carbo. Bakit kailangan ng sodium? Itong preparation na ito, meron siyang 49 milligrams na sodium. Tama lang doon sa amount contained para ma-prevent ang heat stroke. Nandito siya in between 40 to 80. So nakita natin 45 milligrams. So that means we are replacing whatever is lost. So yan ang importante dito. So meron na tayong sodium, meron tayong potassium. What goes with the combination? The combination allows us to absorb faster doon sa ating intestine ang fluids. So number one, transport, good vehicle, yung combination. Number two, absorption. Para sa ganon, we are able to distribute where they should go to in terms of ating bodily function. Then again, why is this ideal? In fact, if you look at this presentation, how much of the beverage stayed in the body on board? This is pure water. This is the preparation Pocari Sweat. So maganda ang retention. Ibig sabihin, makakatulong doon sa ating system to draw energy from and to distribute water where they should go. Number one, retention. Kasi pag hindi na-retain, pag inom mo, labas na, ay nako, we should be losing more. So dapat, whatever we take in, we're able to retain and maintain. So then again, if you look at this presentation, yung combination ng 6 to 8, looking at the influence of drink composition and fluid absorption, so mas mabilis ma-absorb kapag merong sodium at merong sodium ang ating intake ng fluids at meron siyang fluids. Yung fluids plus sodium plus carbohydrates, yung 6 to 8% carbohydrates. So then again, ang ating choice for this presentation and in fact forever is a healthy ion supply drink. Healthy hydration, it can tide us over doon sa ating needs. Faster absorption because of combination of 6 to 8% carbo and sodium content. No artificial color, kanya no harm for allergies, no risk for allergies. So then again, can be taken by children as well. Very refreshing, particularly when cold, and complete ion. So if we take, ang sabi ko kanina, yung exhaustion, it has to be intravenous. Particularly stroke, it has to be on all four extremities and then ICU admission. However, if we're looking at a good formula na kompleto, take a note of this, complete ion or electrolyte, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, citrate, important ions. Ano yung sabihin ito? Suero in a bottle. Suero in a bottle. So, kung hindi kailangan mapunta sa ospital, we can hydrate, we can prevent further harm by introducing electrolytes and water all together. So ion supply drink. So prevention tip para sa inyo, towards the last 2 slides na to. The general goal during any physical activity is to drink 20 to 40 ounces per hour of cool, palatable, non-carbonated, caffeine-free. Yan, yung tanong kanina, energy drink na may caffeine. So dapat walang caffeine ang ino-offer natin. At least 2 cups per 1 pound. So ano ang dapat natin gawin para sabihin maganda hydration status natin? Number 1, yung urine color. 1, 2, 3, numbers. Number 2, yung volume. Dapat sufficient yung volume na inilalabas natin. Kasi kung walang inilalabas, ibig sabihin, nire-retain ng system natin kasi dehydrated tayo. And last but not the least, kailangan mag-weigh in tayo. Kung mag-gym tayo sa bahay, kailangan may pre-workout weight tayo, may post-workout weight tayo. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pumayat kayo? Hindi. Ang ibig sabihin nun, kung mag-weight ka bago mag-exercise, mag-weigh-in ka bago mag-exercise, pumayat ka after exercise, ibig sabihin na walan ka ng tubig alongside electrolytes. Kailangan mag-replace ka. So drink at least 2 cups per 1 pound of body weight loss during activity and additional 8 ounces in order to compensate. So again, tignan ng kulay, tignan ng amount, yung volume, and tignan ng ating timbang. Last slide. Practical tips for preventing heat illnesses. Prevent by knowing the signs. Ano yung types natin? Cramps, syncope, exhaustion, stroke. Avoid exercise under the hot environment. Yung exercise sa hot environment, dapat nasa shade sila. Unfortunately, hindi natin masabi sa palarong pambansa ito, no? Ang palarong pambansa, ang nag-host yung may kakayahan. Sino na ba nag-host? Nag-host na ang Pangasinan? Nag-host na ba ang Cagayan Valley? Alam natin, itong dalawang ito ang nagre-register ng pinakamatatas na heat index sa panahon ng tag-init. So, kanya kung may competition, we need to take note of this practical tips. So, kailangan may magandang hydration tayo. Ngayon, pag merong sudden rise, alam na natin, so dapat pag sweat, mag-evaporate. So, kailangan paypayan, ilus ang kanyang mga damit and several more. Mag-replenish ng lost water and salt. Huwag na yung caffeine kasi nga yung caffeine nakaka-stimulate siya. Nakakagising nga pero magde-dehydrate ka lalo. Hindi natin kailangan yung gising over hydration. Kailangan natin yung well hydration para tumagal tayo mag-last may stamina. Body weight, cool light toting. Pag nagpa-fun run kayo, this is NCPEP Fitness Fun Webinar. So pag nagpa-fun run kayo, dapat ang pinamimigay na t-shirt, pastel or light colored. Pastel kasi hindi siya mag-absorb ng heat. Pastel kasi i-allow niya yung nasa loob ng system natin ma-dissipate palabas para mag-evaporate. So kailangan natin yung evaporation. Now, unhealthy condition is a basic trigger. Kapag ang bata ay may lagnat, huwag mag-PE. Huwag i-allow mag-PE. Kapag bata ay nagtae the night before at hindi pa nag-replace relative to, huwag mag-PE. Pero kung may lagnat, huwag mag-PE. Bakit? Pag may lagnat, nag-dehydrate, nag-diarrhea, nag-dehydrate, nawalan ng electrolytes, hindi nagpalit, nag-participate, nako, mahinang-mahina yan, suboptimal. Risk for events will be rather high. And finally, after this talk today, not to panic, apply emergency care. Alam niyo na yan, yung heat-related illnesses, mag-hydrate tayo with the right formula, the right fluid. Be at your best, right drink, better health. So maraming salamat for this opportunity. Ana?
Thank you very much, Doc Pineda. Another session of very informative discussion about hydration and a while ago, anti-doping. Maraming salamat, Doc Pineda. So, let's open our floor for the questions. I saw some questions here already in our group chat. So let's start with this one, sir. Okay, Sir Ryan Vega. Can the use of any dextrose powder mixed in water helpful?
Pwede naman yan. Yung ORS ang sinasabi niya, yung oral rehydration salt. Kung wala yung commercially available, then that can take the place. I remember in the SEA Games Philippines, matagal na yung SEA Games Philippines na una. In 1991 SEA Games, ako ang head ng Team Philippines Medical. I assigned myself sa football kasi may German coach. Yung German coach, ang gusto niya, ilagay yung oral rehydration salt solutions do sa tubig ng ating mga football players. Kasi nakakatulong naman talaga kasi merong electrolytes. So, fluids plus electrolytes. Pwede naman, depende na sa inyong pag-calculate kung ano yung needs ng ating kliyente.
Okay. So thank you very much, Doc. Let's see more questions. Let's look at in the FB. The same question with Coach Julius, if the use of dextrose powders is advisable as a replacement for water. Almost same. What else can you see on our group chat? So we are encouraging everyone to ask questions about our topic for hydration to Dr. Pineda. Actually, most of them are saying, thank you, sir. Your lecture is very informative. Salamat po, Dr. Pineda, for this wonderful discussion and webinar. And also to our sponsor, Pocari Sweat. Doc, also there are some participants asking if you can share to us the presentation.
Sige, I will share with you. Through
Sige
Nelly.
pa. Sige
Sige.
pa. We will just send it to those who want to have the
Ayan.
presentation of Dr. Pineda. So PDF lang yan ni Doc, then we will send it to us, then we will send it to all our participants. And sir, another follow-up question from Sir Ryan Vega. What's the difference on the other water options of ion, mineral, alkaline, and all performance like ion or alkaline drinks?
Ito kasi, itong iron supply drink na ito, Pocari Sweat, as I told you, mas kompleto yung kanyang content. Earlier, ang sabi ko, ito yung suero na taken orally. Other preparations may be very strong sa sodium, potassium lang, plus the glucose. Importanteng malaman natin na yung glucose, yung 6 to 8% carbo, importante in combination with salt, which is the sodium base. So para ma-accept ng system natin kagad, mai-transport at magamit as energy and later on para doon sa kabuuan ng system. So yun ang kaibahan niya, mas kompleto yung supply drink dito, ion supply drink ito compared to the rest of the setting. So ito yun, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium chloride, citrate, and lactate. So yung iba will have 1 or 2 or 3. So ito has more to offer. Yes, Ana.
Yes, thank you, Doc. And how about sir, yung 'di ba there are some coaches or other yung mga siguro yung mga myth na din sinasabi nila sa mga players na hindi mo na masyadong mag-iinom ng tubig kasi bibigat or what? How can you deal with that one?
Yung bigat kasi is dependent on the system. Kung kung acclimatized yung system, makaka-perform siya well under the expectation of the coach. So dahil heat-related illnesses ang pinag-usapan natin, kung magpa-participate sila sa event in a province na mataas ang init factor, matindi, so dapat may acclimatization. Ang magandang acclimatization period, nando sila sa lugar 2 weeks before. Ang mahal, no? Dapat nando sila sa lugar ng competition 2 weeks before para maka-acclimatize yung system natin. Unang linggo nagbe-break in doon sa environment. Yung kilos kontrolado, pero yung pangalawang linggo bumabalik na siya doon sa kanyang matinding training bago yung actual competition. Ang problema yung money entailed doon sa acclimatization. So pangalawa, yung katawan natin kasi kung nag-training tayo maganda, adequate training, alam natin na number 1, meron tayong pre-competition meals at saka hydration. Meron tayong intra-competition meals and hydration. Meron tayong post-competition meals and hydration. Ano importante doon sa post-competition meals and hydration? Yun yung recovery. Recovery meals, recovery hydration. So ito mga element na to, magsasabi sa atin na tama lang yung tubig sa katawan natin, tama lang yung pinapasok. Pero yung bigat, relative kasi yun eh. So it may be na hindi maglalas yung bata kung wala yung elements na sinabi natin kanina, yung estado ng kanyang pangangatawan. Kasi nga manghihina talaga siya sa suboptimal performance. Nakita niyo yung plot kanina pababa as they get as the temperature rises, yung performance goes down. So delikado yan pag 2%, 3%, 4%, mahirap i-tide over yan. So hindi yung makakapag-perform well. Meron ako hindi pinayagan Ana na gymnast sometime in the past sa SEA Games kasi mataas ang lagnat 40 gymnast parallel bar. So ang risk for injury is high, no? Baka mawala ng malay sa taas, mataas ang kanyang tonsillitis eh. So yun, hindi magandang status noon hydration wise tsaka yung infection, no? So mataas na In fact, mataas na yung ceiling. Kaya sabi ko kanina, absolute contraindication sa PE, yung batang may lagnat. Wag pa pabayaan mag-PE yan kasi hihimatayin talaga yan. No? So hindi niya makakayanan.
Ayan, yung mga PE teachers dyan. So, dapat be aware and be lenient yung mga may sakit. So, let them do other things or they let them rest. Okay, and watch your PE classes for the meantime kasi they have to recover first from their sickness. Another question, Doc, from our FB viewers. So, from Jennifer Thailand de Jesus, is it safe to drink Pocari Sweat in an empty stomach? Thank you.
Depende kasi yung pag-inom ng tubig on an empty or on post-meal na base. Depende sa, it all depends on the threshold ng system. So merong iba na may take in muna, yung iba, depende kung kailangan mag-recovery hydration. So it all depends on the person. So merong sensitive that we agree with, that we recognize. So depende sa kanyang in the past, yung experiences niya will be factored do sa intake nito.
Yes, thank you.
I
think we will. Yes, sir.
Mas masarap ito chilled.
Yung nga malamig.
Chilled.
Last two more questions, Doc, from our FB. From Sir Romelito Razon, which is more advisable, cold water or warm water during training? Is there any different effects if it's cold or warm water?
Actually, wala. Based on individual, yan, ang sagot yan, individual preferences, based on experience, nag-experiment naman yung mga yan. Meron ng experience rather, and that should dictate yung intake ng cold or relative kasi yung temperature when you take in doon sa ating system. Whatever you take in, ipaprocess yan ng ating gastrointestinal system, whether cold or hot yan. So it all depends on the threshold ng individual.
Tama. Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much for entertaining all the questions. I think Sir Ryan also just want to say something that he remember putting fruits po, especially the citrus ones in the big jar for their football players. Is it sir, helpful also to the performance of our football players kung may mga citrus?
Again, yung citrus, yung citrus kasi is vitamin C.
Yes.
Di ba sabi ko nga, vitamin C ang major niya supply. So baka mas maganda merong electrolyte na component ion supply, particularly depende doon sa kanyang discipline, yung sports discipline. Number one. Number two, kung saan gaganapin yung event na yon. Indoor ba siya? Kung indoor ba siya, ano yung relative humidity, ano yung temperature for the day. Kung outdoor siya, anong oras nasa element of the sun ba, and several more. So again, yung citrus may help, pero citrus siya, vitamin C ang major niya. So baka kulang doon sa ibang natin, yung sinasabi natin that we lose kapag nagpapawis tayo, which is water plus several more electrolytes.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Pineda. I think that's it. That's all the questions. So just to those who just came in, so this webinar is brought to you by NCPEP, our National Council for Physical Educators of the Philippines Incorporated, and also in the cooperation of Rotary Club Jose Abad Santos, Manila. Once again, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the following personalities. We have our PO, Girly Chu, we have PP Winston Chu, and also past President Johnson Tan, and also we have here from friends from other Rotary Clubs. We have TP Fred Sibuk also is here in our Zoom group chat, and also our partners from Philippine Sports Commission and Office of PSC Commissioner Charles Raymond Maxi, and also our Phinado team, anti-doping team. We have Andrea Maxi, General Leon, and Aldo, and also Stephanie Pagarigan, and of course our sponsor for this webinar. We have Pocari Sweat, our friends from Pocari Sweat, Ma'am Nelly Ramos, thank you very much, Ma'am Rachel Sale, and Sir Jeff Yonko. So right now, I know our participants are waiting for our game, second set of our games. Ma'am Rachel, are you still there? So Ma'am Rachel.
Hi,
So
ma'am.
let's start our second game. Okay, for our session or our topic about hydration. I hope our FB viewers and also our Zoom group chat viewers here are all ready for our next session or our next game brought to you by Pocari Sweat.
Ayan.
So
Alright, so
take it away,
moving on.
ma'am.
Thank you, Miss Anna. Okay, so moving on to our next session of game. Guess the emoji. So for our Zoom viewers, sige, wait lang. Yan, for our Zoom viewers, ready na po ba tayo? Zoom viewers, please type game na.
Game na!
Ayan na, game na. Okay, for our Zoom viewers, please guess the emoji here. Yan, symptoms of dehydration. So this is present to exhaustion. So yan, meron na po tayong first winner for our second session of game. Congratulations to Miss Jonalen de Guzman. So she answered headache. Okay, for our Facebook Live viewers. Yan na, game na ang ating mga FB Live viewers. Okay, for our FB Live viewers, here's your emoji. Yan. First sign of dehydration. Mr. Joe Toro answered heat, but sorry sir, mali po.
I think ma'am na nando pa rin siya sa first slide natin. So let's just wait for their answers. Ayan na, meron na po.
Ayan, okay po. Check po natin. Yan. So, meron na tayong next winner. So, this is first sign of dehydration, which is thirst. So, congratulations to Miss Arlene Dave Appleflot. Yan. Okay, for our next emoji. So, punta ulit tayo sa ating Zoom viewers. Zoom viewers, ready na ba? For our Zoom viewers. Yan. So, I think mas madali to ngayon. So, ang clue natin is electrolyte drink or ion supply drink. Alright. I think we have our winner and she is Miss Geraldine. Miss Anna, okay lang ba? Si Miss Geraldine po is our co-host.
Give it to others, ma'am.
Okay po.
Baka na-excite lang siya. Nagsumagot din siya.
Na-excite siya. Ayan, meron na tayo si Miss Gemma Domondon. So, she answered Pocari Sweat. Yan, congratulations to our Zoom viewers, Miss Gemma Domondon, for answering Pocari Sweat. Okay, last but not the least. Okay, sa ating Facebook Live viewers, so check lang po natin, medyo naglilipat pa siya ng slide sa ating FB Live. Yan. To our Facebook Live viewers, you have to guess the emoji here. Sa ating FB Live viewers, so para sa ating clue, Ayan, it's ano siya, virtual background ni Miss Ana. Check lang po natin sa FB Live viewers. Yan. For our second clue, it aims to help develop physical educators and fitness enthusiasts. Let's see, sa ating FB Live viewers, wala pa po.
Philippines Incorporated.
Wala pa po. Okay, remind ko lang po, dapat complete po yung answer. Yung
Teacher,
buong meaning po. Yung buong meaning po.
International.
Yan. So, mostly ang sumagot is NCPEP. But you have to give the meaning of NCPEP. Sa ating Facebook Live viewers, alright. Meron na po tayong winner for our last winner. Congratulations to Mr. Francis John Bercades de Gala. So he answered National Council for Physical Educators of the Philippines Incorporated. Alright, congratulations sa ating mga winners. So to do the recap, ang mga nanalo po sa ating games for this webinar is Miss Andrea Bentres. So she answered no to dope. Mr. Jade Cruz answered clean sports. And then Miss Maribel Aquino answered Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization. Mr. Romelito Sirazon answered World Anti-Doping Agency. Miss Jonalyn de Guzman, Headache. Arlene Dave Apple Flot answered Thirst. Miss Gemma, Miss Gemma Domor answered Pocarset, and Mr. Francis answered National Council for Physical Educators of the Philippines Incorporated. All right. Once again, congratulations to our winners. And by the way, before I end my game, happy birthday to Ms. Jenny Rolyon from Philippine Sports Commission. So under Commissioner Maxi. So happy birthday, ma'am.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Miss
Ma'am
Jen.
Senny.
Thank you very much. Happy
Thank you
Happy
very much
birthday,
po.
Ma'am Senny.
Birthday
So-
po.
So back to you, Miss Ana.
Thank you very much. And once again, happy birthday, Ma'am Zeni Rolyon from Philippine Sports Commission under the Office of Commissioner Charles Raymond Maxi. Thank you very much, Miss Rachel from Pocari Sweat. Okay, so Doc G, kindly present the certificate. Doc G, I think that's
Maxi.
yeah, kay Doc Maxi, kay Kom Maxi pa rin na siya. But before we're waiting to the e-certificate of Doc Pineda, so please be reminded our attendance link was already posted in our Zoom group chat for our Zoom members or our NCPEP members here. And also the attendance link for our FB viewers or FB live participants was already posted there. So the link will be available until tomorrow, 5 p.m. You can watch the replay of this session with Dr. Pineda. We will post this also in our YouTube channel. Don't forget to use our hashtags. So while waiting for Ma'am G, let me show you our hashtag once again. I included another 2 hashtags for our session. So don't forget to take a selfie before and towards the end of our session and post to our FB group and FB page using our hashtags, hashtag NCPEP, hashtag FitFun webinar series, hashtag play clean, hashtag play true, and of course, hashtag nope to dope. So the link is available until September 6th. That is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And of course, for those who are not yet member of our FB group and FB page, you can you can scan the QR code here, and the link was already posted here or reflected to our screen for more updates and inquiries. And you can add our FB account and join our FB group and like our FB page. And also, once again, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and press the notification bell for our next video. The link was already there also for our group and also for our YouTube channel. You can use your QR code scanner if you have that in your phones. Ma'am G, are we good? While waiting for the certificate, may I request everyone to please turn on your camera to have a photo of with our resource speaker and also with our friends from Rotary Clubs and our members here in the Zoom group chat. Don't forget to get the links already for your attendance, and that will serve as your assurance for your e-certificates. Yeah. So I think that's it. That's the correct one. That's the correct certificate that we have. So may I read the citation of the certificate? National Council for Physical Educators of the Philippines, or NCPEP Incorporated, in cooperation with the Rotary Club Jose Abad Santos, Manila, award the certificate of recognition to Dr. Alejandro V. Pineda, Jr., for imparting his invaluable insight and expertise to physical educators during the NCPEP Fit Fun webinar series entitled Phinado Anti-Doping Webinar, held on September 5, 2020, given the 5th day of September 2020, signed Dr. Geraldine Cachola Miñas, President of NCPEP. Thank you very much. We will just send you the e-certificate to your email, and if the COVID is gone na po, we will visit you once again in the PSC office po ng Phinado. Maraming salamat po. Doc G, let's have photo op together with our resource speaker and also our friends from Rotary Club and also from Pocari Sweat and also the members of NCPEP here in our Zoom. Kindly turn on your your camera, please. Your camera. Please turn on your camera, then give me your best smile for this session for our photo opportunity together with our resource speaker. Ma'am G, ready na? Okay, so let's have our first grid. Sir Casey Sahagun, Sir Emerson, please turn on your camera so we can have our photo opportunity together with our resource speaker. Ma'am Zen, our birthday celebrant.
Zen. Happy birthday, Ma'am Zen.
And also, Ma'am Max.
Grab food, Ma'am Zen. Ma'am Zen.
Thank you po, Doc. Salamat po. Salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Ma'am Zen, malapit na. Pag wala ng COVID.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thank
Okay,
you.
one
Next
more.
sheet, please. Okay, so one more, please.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Next slide. Are we done, Ma'am G?
Yes.
Okay, one more. Next grid. Okay, give me your best smile, please. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Welcome, bye-bye.
Maraming pong salamat, Doc Pineda, and also Pocari Sweat friends from Pocari Sweat. You can turn on your microphone. You can greet our resource speaker and give thanks to him and also to our sponsor.
Hello, Doc. Thank you for a wonderful lecture.
Thank you
It
very
was
much.
informative. I learned many things.
Also, Doc, invite them because in WADA website, they can get the free certification for WADA.
Oo nga.
Sayang din yun. That's international. So you can go to the WADA website. You just take the test.
WADA website. Meron yun. Sayang. Credentials yun. Yeah.
World Anti-Doping Agency. You can go there directly to their website. You can take the course. That's for free, and that's an international certification for you. So all of us, those yung mga judges natin, referees, coaches, those who are taking international coaches leveling and also accreditations, they are taking
Open
those.
yan.
Ayan, they are taking this exam or course before they proceed to accreditation and international judges or refereeing courses. So yun. So this is another opportunity for you to learn and to get your international certifications. And also please help us together with the Phinado, Philippine Sports Commission, and POCARISWE to promote the true sport and values of anti-doping, and also the to have a clean or clean sport or play through sports to all our students and our student athletes. So
Okay.
Doc, thank you very
Bye-bye.
much once again.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Thank you.
Happy weekend,
God bless.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And to all our winners, don't forget to send your details to us so that we can send your cards.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Bye-bye.
God
Thank you,
bless.
Doc.
Keep
Thank you,
safe.
Miss Anna. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Doc.
Thank you. Ma'am G, you can